Where'd you come from? I didn't see you there. I had the occasion to go shopping in a local men's store. I was looking for some treats for my son in law. Father's Day is coming up. The store had plenty of people and energy and people just humming around and doing things. So I was left to my own devices. And there was a young man who wanted to buy, I think it was a particular pair of socks, sports socks. And he was getting all fidgety because he couldn't find anything. So he went up to the counter to ask for some sales help. And he told him exactly what he was looking for. And lo and behold, the guy at the counter didn't know what he was talking about. So yours truly, the old lady that's invisible to everybody, pops up and says, "Hey, are you looking for these?" Oh, yeah. Where'd you come from? And the sales clerk had the audacity to say, "I didn't see you there." But that is something I'm sure I'm not the only person at my age to encounter something like that. I was glad to help the young man out. I wasn't offended, but it is a topic I want to talk about. But how did we get on this whole big kick about being invisible? Where did that happen? Let's talk about how we got to this place. I think some of the reason that we got to this place is that we allowed our lives to be defined by the people we were obligated to take care of. Full stop. We spent the last 30, 40, 50 years tending to everybody else's life. Who has woken up first thing in the morning was a running list of who needed what for the day, whether they were kids in elementary school or kids preparing to graduate or kids coming home from college. There was somebody, a husband, a kid, somebody, or somebody at work was retiring and you had to get the cake for the retirement party. You woke up with a list every morning of something you had to tend to that had nothing to do with you. We allowed all of that to happen to us. And the easier that we can come to a place of recognizing, okay, that was that, but here we are now. I don't wake up and think about anybody. Now, some of us, women over 60, have a marriage and we still have a husband and we incorporate him into our lives. And some of us are like me. I'm a solo woman living alone, doing everything on our own and loving every minute of it, I have to add. What I'm really coming to is flip the script and say, yeah, I have arrived. I got my invisibility cloak. I'm here. I got this, baby. I'm going invisible right now. What could you do with your days if you flipped the script and said, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. I can get so much done or have fun or play pranks or do what I want to do because I want to do it, not for any other reason, not to become visible, but to do it because it brings you pleasure. I think that's where we kind of get tripped up a little bit. We have to teach ourselves that it's okay to do something because it brings us pleasure. Now, every now and then, about 1 in 10 women will remind me, Monica, I knew whatever I damn well want to do. And I say, you go, girl. But for the most part, most of the people that I hear from on this topic very often tell me thank you because they didn't feel like they had permission to be who they really want to be. One of the things that I noticed when I flipped a script on being invisible is my curiosity became ignited. What could I do with it? My curiosity about other things that I had put off for so long in my life became ignited. Turn it around and make it work for you. Find out what you're interested in. The other one I'm getting ready to do, I want to learn how to decorate cakes. But my point is that there are many more ways to think about life at this time. But if you get stuck thinking that you're invisible, that's really going to be what happens to you. But it's not about being invisible to other people. It's not about being invisible to the other world. You are ultimately invisible to yourself. You haven't had time to really sit with yourself and know what makes you click. You've been so busy taking care of everybody else. And I know I have a good friend who's very busy taking care of grandkids and her mother. She's still in that loop. But from time to time, I encourage her, put yourself on the calendar. You've got to take care of you. It is no different than the airline saying, if we're going to crash, cover yourself first before you do the kids. Same thing. Same thing in and day out tasks. Same thing in and day out living. If you are invisible to other people, it's because you are invisible to yourself first. And I know that it's not pretty words, but I want you to sit with it and think about it, because you set yourself up, or life handed you ended up living a life of obligation to other people's lives, and they've all grown up and left and done their thing, and all of a sudden you feel invisible. But it's up to you to take steps and measures to feel visible to yourself. And when you feel visible to yourself, all kinds of wonderful things could start happening for you. But my point right now really is to get you to really understand that you have a choice in this. It is not that you have to accept being invisible. It is that you get to choose, I'm going to think about me for a little bit. Maybe keep a journal and notice what perks your mind a little bit, or go for some walks in different parts of the area where you live that you've never gone for walks before. Just notice what's around you and see what piques your curiosity. I want to ask you to consider is, what if the goal isn't to become visible to the world again? What if you could make yourself visible to yourself again? What if you could do that? What would that feel like? What would that look like? And if you didn't like it, could you change it? Would you change it? All these choices are in front of you, and it's really not that hard to do. There are things that you can do. You could go back into your old dreams. About 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, I'm sitting in my living room and I'm enjoying a movie about a young boy going wayward and how his mother works with neighbors to bring him back into the fold. And she's so proud of him. Towards the end of the movie, she gives him his dead father's 1968 Mustang, completely refurbished, renewed inside and out. And I just sat up and I thought, oh my God. And here's why. My father gave me a 1968 baby blue Mustang for the floor when I was 16 years old. And the memories kept flooding back. But here's the most important point. It energized my thinking to such a level with the goosebumps and everything that had happened, because it was such a fun and wonderful memory, that I felt like I had to get up. I did chores, I did exercising, but here's the next step that happened after that. Because I had kicked open some dormant neural pathways had kicked open in my mind when I revisited the day that Daddy gave me the keys to that Mustang and what I felt like. And the key is what I felt like. I felt like a queen. I felt like a princess. Now, about 2 days later, after all of this has happened, I'm kind of lamenting the fact that I live in a high rise and I don't have a yard and I want to go outside. And here's what happens. I get like this tap on my shoulder, invisible, but a tap. It says it's sitting right in front of you. I'm like, what's sitting right in front of me? There's a door back there that's actually double doors that goes to a balcony. Now, it's only 8 inches wide. And I heard, set up your table and chair and have your coffee with me every morning in front of this balcony. Okay, so I open everything up. I move some furniture around. And lo and behold, there's this massive 150-year-old oak that bends over my balcony, resplendent with fresh green leaves, greeting me like, hey, there you are. Here's your green yard that you've been missing so much. I guarantee you, I would have never thought about that had I not stirred the dormant neural pathways in my brain through that dream that I had 2 days before. And that was me becoming visible to me. That was me responding to me, not to anybody else. And every day, sometimes multiple times a day, I'll go sit in that chair and look out over my balcony and the big blue sky and the beautiful big green tree. Good things can happen if you change and flip the script. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm invisible, nobody sees me," say, "Hey, I'm invisible and I'm going to go do something about it. I can do something with this. This is my superpower." Remember, you're only as visible as you want to be, and you're only as invisible as you accept. The choice is completely and entirely yours.